So welcome to my first thoughts on Fantasian Neo Dimension. Now this is an RPG available for Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and also on PC.
You're done!
Are you guys picking this game up? Is it on your radar? Is it the RPG that you've been waiting for? Because for me, I've been waiting a while for this. I originally played it on the Apple Arcade on an iPad.
Weird device.
I played the first few levels and I realized something. I don't like playing games on iPads. It's not for me. But I was so fascinated about this game because it was created by the father of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi. And it was on Apple Arcade in 2021. It was kind of exclusive to that for quite a few years. And I kept writing on Twitter, I kept writing everywhere, like, when is this coming to console? When is it coming to PC? When is the rest of us gonna be able to play this game? And I've had a lot of hope, and I gotta say, I was so excited when they announced that it was coming out finally. Now, it's interesting because this is a Mistwalker game, and what's fascinating about that is this is the company that Sakaguchi created when he left Square. He left Square in the year 2003, and he started Mistwalker in 2004, and we got some great games. We got The Last Story on Wii right here. We got Blue Dragon as well on the Xbox 360, and the incredible, unbelievable Lost Odyssey. For anybody who hasn't played Lost Odyssey, you can pick this up on the Xbox 360 rather cheap, and I highly recommend it. This is really a Final Fantasy game in disguise, but great character designs and a great storyline. So I've been following the Mistwalker saga for quite some time, and when he said he was working on a brand new game back in 2021, I was so excited, and then I got to see the visuals of it, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And it was kind of like CG characters over handmade, hand-modeled backgrounds. And I was flabbergasted. I was like, I've got to play this game. So yes, I played it on the iPad, didn't like it, and today I finally get to talk about the new enhanced version called Fantasian Neo Dimension. Now this is a HD port and it's 4K for PS4, Xbox, and on PC. These environments, most of them, a lot of them, are all hand modeled. Yes, there's a lot of CG ones, but they've taken the time to build models. They built models and scan them in, and they let you kind of explore these environments. It is so creative and so smart, and something that we're lacking in this world of AI generated imagery, where we're going back to the basics, where people sat there for a long period of time handcrafting real models and letting you explore them in real time.
There!
And this is a no spoilers story about everything. I don't want to ruin a lot of the stuff. I'm still in the beginning of the game myself, but you play as Leo.
Leo, are you okay?
And you start off in a machine city. And what's kind of neat about this is you can see how the father of Final Fantasy created this game, because it starts off and you see your character in this building and then it pans away, and I was like, oh my god, this completely reminds me of the beginning of Final Fantasy VII when, you pull back from the Shinra buildings, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. And already in the beginning, you kind of feel that you're in good hands.
Uh-oh, we've got company.
So you're running around this machine city accompanied by robot companions who are helping you through the battles.
Attacking!
And then you're fighting other machines throughout, and you're like, what is going on here? Did this kind of throw you in?
These robots, where did they come from?
And I kind of like that. I'm like, what's going on? What's the storyline here?
Danger, danger.
And it seems you play this character Leo, and you've lost your memory.
I've lost my memory.
And you're trying to remember where you're from, who you are, and why you have these robot companions beside you.
Master Leo?
As soon as you start to understand all of that, you warped to a planet, Terminator 2 style.
Oh, he vanished.
Warp successful.
And you get there, and you know this place, and you know the people know you.
So, how was it?
Do we know each other?
And you're like, wait a second, I think I remember you, I don't. And so part of the story is to figure out who you are, how you fit into the world, and also there's this other thing that's going on, this mecha infestation of the planet that you're on, and you're trying to get to the bottom of it all.
What's this stuff again? Oh, right. Bacteria.
So how is the gameplay? What's the gameplay about? It's an RPG, so you're running around your environments, finding treasure chests, talking to people, you're running into stores, buying equipment, buying new weapons, buying new armor, and buying items to upgrade yourself as well. You also have a skill tree to build yourself up that way, and there's a lot of different side quests that you can go on, but I love running around the environments and exploring and finding different treasures throughout.
Hey, it opened.
Now we get into combat, and the combat is very, very simple. And being somebody who's very old school, I really appreciate this. You have your basic attacks, so you get into combat, and then you can just attack your opponent. Or you can use your skill attacks, and those are cool because you can kind of curve them so you can hit multiple enemies at a time. So that's how you create some of the strategy in this game. You can also have barriers on yourself and pump up your buffs, all that kinds of stuff. But the combat is, for the most part, very, very simple. And I've got to say, that's one of the things I appreciate the most in this game, the return to simplicity.
Missed me.
Another addition to battle that I really like is that when you're running around, you can turn on this feature called Dimension. You can turn it on or off. And what that allows you to do is you can run around without getting into any random combat. Well, that's kind of how it works, is that the combat actually collects up on the top corner of the screen, and eventually you will have to fight all of the enemies all at once, and that can be quite a lot of fun, just building up all the combat in the background, allowing you to run around, but eventually it's going to catch up on you. So I always usually let it go halfway up, and then I take all the enemies out. Now, the music is by Nobu, the absolute creator mastermind of the Final Fantasy games. And I just have to say something here. I'm not going to play any of this music throughout the entire First Thoughts that I'm doing because he has a habit of coming in and copyright claiming your video for using his music. So we won't be using any of the in-game music. I'll show little snippets here and there. And it's too bad. It's too bad he's like that because this music is fantastic. And I think it's one of Nobu's best scores in years. And why I say that is it really fits the environments really well, but it just harkens back to that PS1 era of games and that music and that emotion. And there's a lot of emotion in this game, and he's really hitting in with that emotional music at the right times and the great battle music at other times and great exploration music, and it all comes together really well that I absolutely am going to buy the soundtrack separately from talking about this review because it really has stuck with me.
Activating defense system.
So another thing you can do with the soundtrack, you can change the battle music to classic Final Fantasy battle music. You can pick Final Fantasy VII Remake, quite a few others, pixel remasters, but for myself I just stuck with the main music.
Nice!
So here are my final thoughts, and I have a lot to say about this game so far. Yes, I really love the creative hand models of this game. And in fact, I think that's one of the things I love about it the most. That kind of attention to detail shows that they really loved the game that they were working on and wanted to do something very special that I'm telling you, you don't see in games these days. So I really like the visuals, but that being said, we're at a time where this is an upscale. We can see that, and you can really see that in some environments when you're up close and the characters are super nice high res, but some of the backgrounds really look a little blurry and a little bit bitty at times, I guess from some of the upscaling that they did. But that didn't take away from the game, and especially running around, seeing the models that they made. It's very, very charming, and it has a feeling all to itself. Another thing that I thought was a little bit unusual, and it harkens back to the old school days, is changing from one scene to another. I mean, like running around in the open world, and you're going from one section to another, it'll cut to another angle, and sometimes that can kind of mess with your brain. Back in the old PS1 era, we were used to that. but things have changed quite a bit, and so sometimes that can be a little bit off-putting, but it's nothing that breaks the game or anything like that. But it's such a return to old school that it feels unusual to have that happen. It's like an old Resident Evil game or an old Final Fantasy VIII game where you just go around the corner and it's like, whoa, a total different juxtaposition. And you're like, where am I? Oh, okay, I'm still in the same scene, but a different angle. But as I said, also, great music, great sound effects, everything's really fitting, and I haven't talked about it, the voice acting in this game is surprisingly very good.
Oh, Master Leo dropped something.
Uh-oh.
And that's the thing that I didn't expect with this game, was to get swept up in the storyline with the characters. I didn't know this would be such an emotional story, and that I really get suckered into it. I was like, whoa, okay, it's gonna be kind of an old school game and all that. I'm like, whoa, there's some heart to this game, you know, with the visuals and with the story and with the music to accompany that as well.
Eat this!
And I think the reason why all of these things work together so well is that Sakaguchi was playing, again, Final Fantasy VI. Yes, the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo game we got over here is 3. He was playing that again with some friends of his, and it kind of awakened something back to his old development days, and he was like, whoa, I remember when some of our older games had such unique stories and emotion. I want to create a game like that now that harkens back to the old school days, but has also a brand new different kind of facelift and brand new style of graphics. And has he pulled it off? Here it is. He absolutely has. So if you're an old school PlayStation 1 fan, or even a PlayStation 2 fan, this is for you, and it's also for me. Running around, exploring this world, it brings you back to your youth, it brings you back to the PlayStation 1, and it's such a unique experience to get into combat, to level up that way, to go into a simple town, simply buy armor, simply talk to people with very simple graphics, simple combat. It all works. It's very simple. And that's sometimes what we want now in this overcomplicated world, a return to form and a return to the good old days. And that's what Fantasian is. It's a return to the good old days of RPGs that we remember so well from our youth. And for that, I applaud the game. I'm gonna pick up physical copies for the Nintendo Switch and for the PS5 because I really wanna support this game. I recommend all of you support this game as well if you like old school RPGs. Is it perfect? No. Is it fun? Yes. Is it return to old school? Absolutely. Will you have fun? I'm thinking so, for sure. So guys, are you interested in this game? Let me know down below. So anyways guys, until next time.